What do you feel is the number one cause for divorce?
I've been asked this question hundreds of, probably thousands of times at this point, and I actually don't know the answer to this. I've gone and I've read books and I've done research, but I don't think anybody actually knows the answer to this. So Dave Ramsey will tell you that it's money fights and money problems. That I don't think is actually correct. A lot of people will say that it's infidelity. That I don't think is actually correct either. Those tend to be symptoms of an underlying problem. So yeah, you have money problems, and that probably makes things worse. But it's kind of a constellation of things when it's money. If it's infidelity, that's almost always because there's some other pre-existing problem in the relationship, and then somebody steps out after a period of time. That's not always how it works. Sometimes people are just cads, but it's almost always a manifestation of an underlying problem. So I don't know exactly what it is. What I can tell you, but that I see most often when I talk with people, and I've talked with over 10,000 people at this point about their relationships and their divorces, is people just tend to not put in the effort that's necessary. And that sounds kind of harsh. And look, if you're going through domestic abuse, if you're going through sexual abuse, these sorts of things absolutely does not apply to you, okay? But in most marriages, what I've seen is that people, they just don't try that hard. They're not trying as hard as is necessary. So they just take their spouse for granted. And then when they do that, they end up being like roommates more than a husband and wife. And, you just grow apart after time. And that happens, that's the majority of people I see in those sorts of situations. So it's not some, big grenade going off in a room. It's just over time, you haven't tried as hard as is necessary, and you just grow further and further apart. And at some point you're like, why am I doing this? Right? You've kind of emotionally divorced yourself from the situation. And you think, we might as well just go get divorced legally and get this thing done. So that's what I see most common.